Great day, good people. Aya here at Haji Healing Salon, coming to you with another Haji Yoga Flow. So this is a more restorative practice, and it begins lying supine in Shavasana. So let's come down onto the mat. You might be supported in this practice if you can bring in a strap. This is a yoga strap, but any kind of belt or length of fabric will work well. And that'll be handy if you tend to have tighter hamstrings. So stretching the legs out long and moving the heels to the far corners of the mat. Then giving the tail a tuck and coming all the way down onto your back. We'll lie here in stillness with the arms out about 45 degrees away from the body, palms turned up. And if you have a sense that you need to tend to the body in order to be here and be still for 5 minutes, then go ahead and move in the ways that feel supportive and aligning for you. And then just soften everything. Shavasana is all about letting go, resting, and allowing yourself to just be. So scan the body and see if there are places where you may be holding tension unnecessarily. And just be curious about how much you can soften and release. I invite you to bring your awareness to the natural, easy, and free breath that's just flowing already in and out through your nostrils. And to have a sense of reverence toward the grace that breathes you. When you have a sense of how you naturally breathe, we'll invite in some clearing breaths. So let's take a big breath in through the nostrils, just drinking it in slowly and deeply. We'll pause to hold the breath in, and then open the mouth to audibly clear and release. That feels good. And it supports the softening that we're inviting in this pose. So another one, big breath in. Little hold. And release. And one more time with these clearing breaths. We're just clearing and making room for all the goodness and grace we'll call in through the practice today. Once you feel sufficiently cleared, you'll close the lips and begin to breathe deeply in and out through the nostrils. Of course, in yoga, we breathe with the Ujjayi breath, a Sanskrit word that means victory. And the Ujjayi breath is created by slightly contracting the muscles in the throat to narrow the airway and create a raspy, whispering sound that can be heard with both the inhale and exhale. So we'll spend the next minute practicing the cultivation of Ujjayi. As you continue to breathe deeply, you'll call to mind your own personal and powerful intention for practice. So this is known in Sanskrit as a sankalpa. A sankalpa is a heartfelt wish or desire that you hold for yourself. Consider who you are and who you're becoming, what qualities you need to cultivate in your life, and know and trust that yoga can support you in that. Craft your intention or your sankalpa as an I am statement. Crystallize it in the eye of your mind, and then plant it like a seed in the vast fertile ground of your heart. You'll remain in Shavasana, and you're welcome to join me as I chant the sound of Om to support the sealing in of intention. The sound of Om has 3 parts, Ah, O, and and we prolong each part as we pronounce it. Inviting a deep breath in. Feel the vibration of the Om within you and around you. And as you're ready, use your next inhale to squeeze your legs together and to draw your arms in close at your sides, pinky fingers resting down on the floor. Let's bring a flex into the feet so we're pressing out through the heels with strong, active legs, and bring awareness into the arms. From here and through the rest of the practice, you'll continue to breathe deeply with Ujjayi. The next inhale inspires a lift of the arms. We bring them all the way up and overhead until the thumbs touch the floor above us. And then we pause to exhale, and at this time, we'll lower the ribs down into the body. Then with the inhale, we'll reach beyond, expanding in the body a little bit further. And with the exhale, those arms will float down at the sides again. So let's do that again. Inhaling, arms up and overhead, thumbs touching the floor above you. When it's time to exhale, you'll just use that release to drop the ribs down toward the floor. And the inhale to draw more length in the body from heels through armpits, from armpits to pinky fingers. You feel the stretch. And exhaling, those arms float down at your sides again. When the hands touch down, you can flatten the palms to the floor and bring awareness into the legs and the feet. Let's point the toes. Inhale, lift the right leg high. Any amount is good enough. Exhale, flex the foot and lower down with control. Good. Again, inhale. Now the left side, pointed toes, reach skyward. Exhale, flex the foot and lower down slowly. Once more, each side, inhaling right leg high. Exhaling, a flex in the foot and a gentle lowering, feeling your core muscles engage. Last time on the left side, inhale, reach up. And exhale, flex and lower with control. Good. From here, let's keep the legs squeezed together, but float the arms up and overhead. Bending elbows will clasp opposite elbows and make a frame to rest the head in. Invite an inhale. And when you exhale, you'll walk the heels over to the left side and maybe beyond, off the mat a little bit. Keep your pelvis grounded, but lift your head and shoulders and walk them to the left so you create a beautiful crescent shape with your body on the floor. Breathe in to the whole right side flank, which is absolutely expanding in this shape. And when you're ready to exhale, walk your heels back, walk your head and shoulders back, unclasp the elbows, and float those arms down at your sides. With the hands at your sides, you can better feel where your body has landed on your mat, and it's important to bring yourself back to center. Inhale, float the arms overhead. Again, clasp opposite elbows. Make that frame to rest the head within. And when you exhale, you'll walk the heels to the right. Maybe they land a little bit off the mat. Keep the pelvis grounded right in the center. It's your anchor, but lift your head and shoulders and walk them to the right side. Breathe deeply into all the expansion you're calling in through this shape. And when you're ready to come back, walk your heels back, walk your head and shoulders back, and then straightening the arms, bring them down at your sides. Invite a big breath in and a full breath out. Let's bend the right knee and hug it in and up to the chest. Clasp the hands over the shin. Now, you're always in control of the depth of stretch that you're calling in, right? But especially here as you pulse in and out of a more active stretch. Use the strength of your arms to draw the knee in and up toward the armpit, and then just release. And be curious and interested in how this makes you feel while keeping the left leg long and that heel grounded to the floor. Bring the left hand to the top of the left thigh, or at the intersection of the hip and the thigh. Bring the right hand to the kneecap and begin to circle, just stirring the pot. Move the knee around one direction. I started counterclockwise and then go clockwise. And your goal here is to keep the left side tail grounded as you exhale and open out to the right. Now, you can bring a block in for support so that you can really just rest into the block, or you can use your arm like a pedestal, keep the elbow bent, hold the knee, and you can control the amount of opening that way. But as you're here, breathe deeply and allow light and breath into this right hip socket and into the groin muscles. And then see about drawing that knee back into center as you inhale. Exhaling, switch hands, take left hand to knee, bring right arm out like a goalpost, bent elbow at the height of the shoulder, back of hand resting down on the floor, or long arm is fine too. And see about pulsing in and out in the direction of a twist to the left. So you're going across the body a little bit, then releasing, going across the body a little more, then releasing back to a place of centeredness, and then going a little further, and maybe you're ready to come all the way over onto the outer left hip where the right big toe can find the floor. You also can bring the block in here. So I like to use it on that second height and let it support the shin. But if you don't need it and the foot comes to the floor, you can be there, right? So another thing, a little pro tip here, is to notice that the right shoulder is off the floor, and that if you walk it to the left and turn your head to the right, you'll find more grounding in that right shoulder. Everything's happening in the midsection here. Keep softening there and continue to breathe deeply. It can be a little bit intense, so be kind, compassionate, right, with your body. When you're ready to come back, inhale back to center. Exhale and place that foot flat to the floor. You'll likely have to realign yourself back to center to find that, right? And then lengthen out the right leg, bend the left knee in and up toward the chest, clasp the hands around the shin, and find your gentle pulse in and out. Breathing deeply, supporting yourself with every deep breath. And then right hand comes to top of that right thigh or to the hip, and the left hand comes to the knee, and we begin to stir the pot. Again, valuing curiosity over judgment in this space, and reversing the other way around. And then eventually opening out to the left, breathing in and out. Again, if you called the support in, you can call it in on this side. I love the blocks because there are 3 potential heights, and the 2 sides of the body don't always show up the same way in the same pose. So it's worth recognizing any differences. And then coming back to center, inhale. Exhale the right hand to the knee. The left arm moves out, either long or with a bent elbow. And we just gently guide it across to the right and come back to center and guide it across to the right. And come back to center. This is especially good to do if it's early in the morning and the body feels tight. The little pulse in and out, I'm a fan of it. Take the big toe to the floor or find the block with the leg. Lift the head and shoulders, walk them to the right a little more, and then turn your head to the left. Let the left shoulder blade settle down and soften so that the weight of the left leg brings you into the most appropriate stretch for your body. And when you feel ready to come back, wait for an inhale to return. Draw head and shoulders back to center, put the foot down, lift the hips, return them to center, and lengthen out. Big breath in, full breath out. Let's bend both the knees and hug them into the chest together. Hands to shins, rock gently right and left. And then you'll just roll over to whichever side, right or left is fine. Make a pillow with the 2 arms to rest your head on. And stay curled up in this little ball shape, just allowing a moment to breathe deeply, to slow down the momentum of the breath, and to integrate. And then you'll plant a palm down to support you in rising up. And you'll gently realign the body into a tabletop position. Set the shoulders over the wrists and the hips over the knees. And if you need any compensating, any movements for compensation, invite those in. Spirals are good. A little bit of wagging the tail can feel nice. Or I really welcome stillness in between the shapes so I can observe and note what's going on. We're moving into cat-cow here. So I think we all know it. It's about spinal mobility. So the inhale lowers the belly, but lifts the face, heart, and tail skyward. Then when we exhale, the upper back is lifted toward the sky, and the head hangs heavy while the tail tucks. A couple more like this. Inhale, roll the shoulders back to, broaden the collarbones, shine the third eye up toward the heavens. When you exhale, shine that light inward, rounding upper back, gaze up toward the navel. Inhale, nice open heart, the light of your heart shining out into the world. The tail light shining too, right? As you exhale, curl up and tuck in. And then stay in this rounded back shape. Tuck your toes, touch your toes together, widen your knees apart, aim your tail back toward your heels. Invite a big breath in and a full breath out. Prepare to settle a little more honoring the body by being slow and gentle. Let the belly hang into the space between the thighs, reach the arms forward, rest the forehead down onto the mat or to a block that you bring in. A block is a great way to lift the floor up to your level. Take another deep breath, sending breath and light and spaciousness into the back of your heart. And then with the very next inhale, we'll begin to peel ourselves up from the floor, to rise slowly so we stand on the knees and bring the arms to the sides. We need to make a little adjustment here, just drawing the knees a bit closer together and separating the feet behind. When you inhale, you can press the pelvis forward, float the arms up, and unite the palms, looking to them. When you exhale, you'll pull your navel in, reach your fingertips forward, and land soft and slow down on the mat. Inhale, shine your heart light out in our cow pose. Tailbone is lifted. Exhale, tuck the toes, bring the hips up and back. Come into a downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. If this is it's likely this is your first down dog of the day. So see about walking it out a little bit. Sometimes that helps. Or maybe just the dynamic movement will help you move through any stagnation. Lower down the knees and lift the face, heart, and tail when you inhale. Exhale, upper back rounds, and we land again in child's pose. And that's the full sequence. We'll do it again. This time, if you have the space, spread your arms wide. Press your pelvis forward. Roll your head back. See the union of your hands. Exhale, draw the navel in and exercise core control as you land soft on the earth. Inhale, shine your heart light out. Right? Just be courageous enough to share with the world. Tuck the toes under, bring the hips up and back, and gaze back with all gratitude for the life that you've already lived. Inhaling, lower the knees, lift the face, heart, and tail. Exhale, upper back rounds. We land soft in the child's pose. And last time, inhale, stand and spread and lift. And exhale, deep bow with all reverence for earth and for ancestors. Inhaling, share the truth of who you are with the world. Heart light shining. Exhale, toes tuck, hips lift up and back. And we look back to worship, never to wallow. Inhale, knees on the floor, face lifting. Exhale, upper back rounds, and we end as we began, child's pose. Big breath in, full breath out, settling. If you'd like, you can bring your prayer hands together and rest them up behind your head. One more deep breath. And as you're ready, palms flatten to the floor. We rise up again onto all fours. Let the belly hang low, lift the tail, tuck the toes, and bring the hips up and back, down dog. Big breath in, full breath out. Let's keep a bend in the knees and keep the palms glued to the mat as we walk forward. I like to call this a little creature walk, right? We might look a little strange on the way up to the front of the mat, but it's all good. Press palms to shins, so shoulders are at the height of the hips, flat back, long neck. Deep breath, exhale, soften, bending the knees and folding forward. As you inhale, you might just clasp opposite elbows, make a frame again to rest your head in, and hang your weight forward toward your toes. Breathe deep, either in the stillness or find a little movement that feels like medicine, maybe a swaying right and left for upper body, maybe sending forearms forward and back. One more deep breath. Release the hands, rock the weight back into the heels, lift the feet, slide the palms underneath, step on your palms so that you're connecting the chakras in the hands and the feet so that you can better circulate the energy that lives in your body around and around. It's generated in the heart space. It moves down into the arms, through the portals in the hands, back up through the soles of the feet, along the legs. It fills the pelvis, moves through the spine, and lands again in the heart where it builds, where more energy is made and circulated around. I like to visualize this. Take another deep breath, Padahastasana, hands to feet. And then slide those hands out from underneath. Bring them to your waist. Pin back your elbows. Keep a nice bend in your knees. Ground down through the feet. Pull your shoulders back and rise slowly with your gaze to the earth to support you and not feeling dizzy, right? Just feeling grounded and stable. We'll set up Tadasana here, standing for the first time on our feet in the practice. So helpful to call in a sense of grounding. You might see, feel, and imagine roots growing down through the soles of your feet that connect you to Mother Gaia, and feel the energy of the earth rising up through the legs, traveling into the pelvis, wrapping along the length of the spine, moving into the heart, down the arms, through the throat, up into the crown. And imagine the energy from on high traveling down like a pillar of light into the crown of the head, moving down along the length of the spine into the heart space. It meets earth energy there. And see, feel, and activate the knowing that your body is the bridge between heaven and earth. Invite a deep breath in and a full breath out. Notice how good it feels to be grounded on both feet. Notice how supported, how stable you feel. In Tadasana, which is mountain pose, we affirm that we too are vast, that we too are ancient of days, like our kin, the mountains. So we'll call on a balancing pose here, affirming first that balance is our birthright, that our bodies are always and always bringing us back into a state of balance. So we'll stand firm on the right leg first. Now, I'm not mirroring you, so you stand on your right leg or do your left, whatever feels good. Bend the left knee and then swing the left toes around behind the heel. Now, you can keep the toes on the floor or you can pull up a little higher if you're accustomed to balancing and you want a little more challenge. But as you bring your prayer hands together, send the left knee back in space. Send the tailbone down, pull the belly in, and lift the crown up. Invite a big breath in. As you exhale, you'll keep a bend in the left elbow, but point the left fingers down toward the bent knee, and then spin the right palm out at the height of the shoulder. This posture is known as the message of Shiva pose. And with these mudras that we're communicating with the hands, the right palm is about our ability to meet fear with love. And the left palm is about our ability to provide mercy and grace, first to ourselves and then to all of our relations. It's a beautiful reminder of a way to integrate yogic principles when we're not on the mat. Inhale the palms back together, lift the knee, and release the foot to the floor. Take a deep breath and notice how you feel. And prepare for the other side, grounding into the left foot, bending the right knee, swinging the toes around behind to hook to the heel or to the ankle, spinning that right knee out to the right. Good. Grounding by sending your tailbone down, pulling your belly in, reach the crown up so you feel long and strong. Deep breath, supporting all the time. Flexion at the wrist as we turn the right fingers down toward the bent knee and spin the left palm out at the height of the shoulder. Same message, different side. We choose to meet fear with love, and we choose to extend mercy and grace to ourselves in all of our relations. It's a beautiful thing. As you're ready to let go, fold your palms back together, bring the knee into the center, and tamp the foot down to the floor. Bring your arms down at your sides. Invite a big breath in and a full breath out. Let's stretch the arms up and overhead with an inhale. Exhale, bend the elbows and take hold of them, same way we did when we were lying on the floor. Let's squeeze the legs together here. And with the next exhale, we'll arc over toward the left. Breathing in and out, coming into the depth of stretch that feels good for your body. Staying here or seeing if you'd like to intensify by floating the right foot or crossing the right leg in front of the left and bringing both feet so they're flat to the floor. Then inhale, come back to center. Exhale, release the clasp of elbows, but spread those arms and open up the heart here, sending it forward in space while tucking the chin back. Bring those arms up again, inhale, and exhaling, take opposite elbows once more. Pull the arm bones back next to the ears, ground down, and arc over toward the right. Any amount. How much is entirely up to you, always, always. And if you want a little more, float the left leg in front of the right and ground the left foot down. Deep breaths. When you're ready to come back, inhale back to center, replace the foot, bend the elbows, open up the heart. Inhale the two arms up, float the palms together. Now, as you exhale, you can stay facing the way that you are, but just so you can see a little better, I'll float my arms down at the height of the shoulders and begin here to press the backs of the hands together, Then bend the elbows, the wrists are connected. Bring the fingers up past the body and extend open palms out. Then press those prayer hands back together, bend deep into the knees, send your butt back. Can you bring the weight into the heels, drawing the knees back as well? Sit as deep as you can, as deep as you want to, and then float the right fingers down past the hip and reach back as you revolve your upper body. Invite a twist. Now, keep the expansion in the arms. Look back to the right thumb and take another deep breath. Keep those knees facing forward. And when you exhale, release, float back to center. Inhale here. Exhale, sit a little deeper, float the left hand back, revolve the chest. This is happening from the midsection. Really the twist, reach back, look to left thumb. Keep expanding, good people. And then come on back. Inhaling to reset. As you exhale, bend your elbows, interlace your fingers, turn your palms inside out. Can you stay in your chair, Utkatasana, as you float your stretched palms up to the ceiling? Exhale, sit a little deeper. Inhale, rise all the way up. And exhale, release. Very, very good. Let's invite a big breath in and a full breath out. Now, you'll separate your feet a little bit, bring a bend to your knees, and start to sway your arms. Let them swing right and left. And maybe after a few of these, you start to gain a little more momentum. The arms start swinging out wider. Keep the bend in the knees. And slow it down so you come back to your center. This is nice too, because if you built up a little heat, it cools you down. Shake anything out that you need to, and we'll return to the front. Feet together, or a little bit of space is always welcome. Breathe in. And as you exhale, tuck your chin to your chest. Round your shoulders forward. Pause to breathe in. Exhale to continue your descent down toward the earth. Pause to breathe in. Exhale, keep going. A controlled descent toward the earth. Pause and inhale. And as you exhale, bring your fingertips to the floor, bend your knees deep, and lower your tail down. Ground and send your legs out long in front of you. Flex your feet, plant your palms, lift your heart. Big breath in. Exhale and bring the right knee up toward the chest. Open out from the hip socket, push foot and thigh together. Revolve your chest to the left so you can bring your hands to either side of that front foot and lift the heart when you breathe in. More lengthened spine. As you exhale, send your sternum toward your toes so you're folding forward over the leg any amount, allowing yourself to soften at the bottom. Tuck that chin and roll up, letting your head be the last thing to lift. And exhale again, lead with your heart, folding forward. You can spider walk the fingers forward with you and then roll yourself up. And see about coming down one more time, this time for a little bit of a hold. So this is where the strap could come in handy. You might just loop it around the foot, hold on, drop your shoulders, lift your heart, send your sternum toward the toes, right? And that's if you're not able to bind around the leg or the foot, right? So the strap is a beautiful tool that you can always bring in, but all of us are dropping those shoulders down, sending the sternum forward and looking at the big toe. That's the dristi, or the gazing point. And we'll slowly release, inhaling up. Exhale, take the right knee up, plant the foot down. Let's stay here with the right knee bent and swing the right fingers behind. You can extend the left arm forward in front of you or reach it up for dramatic effect. And as you exhale, twist, landing the elbow outside the knee, or perhaps just wrapping the arm around the leg to create the twist that helps you look back. How do we look back? With all gratitude. We give thanks for all that has been, for all that is now, and for all that will be. We trust in the divine path. Inhale back to center. Exhale, gentle release, lengthen out. Ground or lift up, pulling that knee up, that heel back, open out on the left side now. Foot and thigh connect. Fingertips on either side of front knee, revolving chest to the right a little bit, lengthening as we inhale, exhaling to fold forward. Rolling up, we inhale. Exhale, we fold forward. Rolling up, we inhale. Exhale, finding release. And maybe a little less resistance for a longer hold. Forearms to the floor or hands along the leg, binding around the foot or grabbing your strap again. Deep breaths, breathing into all the parts that feel sensational in the posture. Maybe you feel this most keenly in the hamstring on the right side. Maybe you feel it more in the left hip socket or the low back. Maybe it's about the shoulders. Do you have a death grip on the strap? Maybe you can soften a little bit of your effort. One more deep breath. And as you're ready to rise, do so slowly, mindfully. Inhale, back up to the center. Exhale, left knee lifts, foot plants flat to the floor. You might have to pull that left hip a bit more forward. Swing the right fingers, these are left fingers behind. Reach right arm forward if you're just gonna hook around, or take it up if you intend to bring the elbow outside the knee, and start the revolution. Press knee and elbow together, or hook arm around, look back over left shoulder. Can you keep right toes flexed so right leg is active and still engaged in the pose, and look back again with gratitude. As you're ready, come back to your center. Inhale. As you exhale, bring a bend to both knees. Press the soles of both feet together. Hold your ankles. You might enjoy gently butterflying the legs, or you might be curious and interested to know how it feels just to be in stillness. Sometimes you can put fingertips to the floor behind you for support. Breathing in and out. Deep ujjayi, our constant companion through this entire experience. Then holding the ankles and beginning to fold forward, thinking about this tilt forward of the pelvis, sending the long spine forward in space, maybe pressing the elbows out to the inner knees and gently guiding those legs down toward the floor a little more. So again, you're in control of this. We're not being too aggressive here. We're gentle, we're curious, we're compassionate. I actually prefer bringing the forearms in front of the shins, because I feel this helps me as I press the arms against the shins. It helps me move a little more forward in space. That feels like I'm moving the stretch more into the hips. And then clasping the hands, the fingers over the toes if that feels accessible, and tucking the chin so you can release the head down toward the feet. So of course, this is going to look different for different bodies. If the feet are too far away and the head is hanging in space, you might bring the block in at one of the three potential heights so you have something to rest the head on. As you're here, it could be good to send breath and light into that back heart space, or into the hips, or into any parts of the body that are talking to you with sensation. When you're ready to rise, do so slowly and mindfully, inhaling to come up. Exhale, take the hands to the outer knees and give them a lift. Pull those knees together. And while you're sitting up, you might separate the feet out as wide as your mat so the pinky toes can hang off the side edges of the mat. And determine the amount of space you need between your heels and your tail for your knees to comfortably find each other. You want them to move together and touch. You might lift the tail, give it a little scoop, and then come down onto the back again, as we end as we began, right? So feeling your body on the floor, resting the soles of the feet down and the two knees together. It brings an internal rotation in the thighs and a spreading out in the low back, which should provide you with a sense of ease. This is known as constructive rest pose. The left hand can come to heart, and the right hand can